expired. I call the member for Denison.
Yeah. Deputy Speaker, look, frankly, it beggars belief that here we are in a country as clever as Australia is in 2017, and we still do not have what I would call a genuine, comprehensive energy policy. Frankly, it beggars belief that at a time when members of parliament are tripping over each other to come into here and talk about national security, that we would not have a plan for our national energy security. I mean, yes, in recent times there's been discussion, and here again today, discussion about electricity and discussion about gas. But the truth is, we are only having discussions about these forms of energy as a knee-jerk to a crisis. The only reason we're talking about electricity, the only reason Dr Finkel did his review was because of the blackouts in South Australia. It wasn't because of some visionary politicians thinking some time ago that we need to address this issue. And the pathway that has come out of those blackouts is entirely unacceptable. This government, supported by the opposition, really should be talking about putting this country on a pathway to 100% renewable energy, a pathway to net zero carbon emissions. And same with gas. Again, it's a knee-jerk reaction to the predictions of gas shortages and big spikes in the price of gas because we're exporting so much of our gas overseas. Again, we're not having a conversation about gas because of visionary politicians years ago seeing a problem in the future and seeing we needed to put in place a plan to avert it. It's a knee-jerk. And again, it's putting us on the wrong pathway. It's not good enough for the Prime Minister to call in a couple of CEOs and have a cup of tea and have a couple of photos and a headline the next day in the newspaper. What we should be doing is coming in here and discussing how we reserve enough gas for our country for the future. That's what we should be talking about. I do worry, Deputy Speaker, that this whole talk about gas is just a clever plan to open up the country to more fracking. What we should be doing is stopping exporting so much of our precious gas and keeping it for our own uses for as long as we think we're going to need it. And the trouble with this reactionary and fragmented approach to energy policy in this country, Deputy Speaker, is we are not at all even starting to talk about the one glaring gap, and that's oil. The fact is that this country is importing most of our oil needs. Now, eventually that problem will go away as we move to a reliance on renewable energy, and we move down to that ultimate goal, hopefully sooner than later, of net zero carbon emissions. But for now, at least, we are needing to import a lot of oil. So do you think that we have visionary politicians talking about energy security in this space? No, not at all. Bizarrely, we are signatories to an International Energy Agency agreement that we will keep 90 days of our import requirements. And the most recent figures I can get a hold of show that we are holding 55 days of our net import requirements. In fact, we're the only OECD country not meeting our IEA treaty requirement to be holding 90 days. I mean, frankly, I find this just bizarre, Deputy Speaker. And what sort of holdings are we holding? I mean, this is going to horrify people who are listening to this short speech and to this short debate. We're holding 31 days of our national LPG requirement. We're holding 23 days of our petrol requirement. We're holding 21 days of our aviation turbine fuel requirement, 17 days of our diesel fuel requirement. My godfather, Deputy Speaker, at a time of unprecedented international instability, and when most of our imports come from Korea and Korean refineries, we're not even meeting our 90-day treaty requirement, the treaty that we have signed up to with the International Energy Agency. And what about pricing? I've made the point in this place before and I'll make it again. No government is yet to take any effective action against the oil companies to make sure that consumers can actually afford to buy the LPG for their cars and their petrol for their cars. And no state is being hammered more viciously in this space, in this regard, than my home state of Tasmania. Deputy Speaker, it's just simply not good enough. I commend the member for Indi for driving this project to have a crossbench MPI, and I thank the Labor Party, the opposition, for supporting us in this. What we need is a government to stand up and to develop a comprehensive energy policy and a comprehensive plan for our energy security. And we need to do it cooperatively and collegiately, and we need to do it as soon as possible. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
I call the member for